Today let us discuss Fresnel's half-period zones. In Fraunhofer's diffraction, source is at very far distance, so we will get their plane wavefront. But in Fresnel diffraction, source is very nearer, so we will get either spherical wavefront or cylindrical wavefront. Now let us divide this spherical wavefront with a plane wavefront, then we will get a plane wavefront. Then let us divide this plane wavefront into circular zones known as Fresnel's half-period zones. To get these circular zones, suppose P is a point on the screen. We want to study the intensity at the point P. This O is the pole. That means this is the origin of all circles, and the distance of this O to the P with P is B. Now to divide half period zones, the next line is ray is M1P. So the distance of OP and M1P, the difference between the distances OP and M1P should be lambda by 2. So we have to put a point M1 such that M1P minus OP equal to lambda by 2. Similarly, we have to put a point M2 so that the difference between the distances M2P and M1P is again lambda by 2. In this way, we have to put points, then draw circles like this. Okay, these circles are known as half period zones. The first circle is the first half period zone, and this annular region, that means the difference of area between the second circle and the first circle is known as second half period zone. This is the third half period zone. This is the fourth half period zone. We can show it this in this way also. XY is the plane wavefront, P is the point on the screen, the O is the pole, and we can divide this half period zones. We can show like this, and these are the points below the in the lower region. M1, M2, M3 are the points on the upper region. M1 dash, M2 dash, M3 dash are the points in the lower region. So the M1 dash P and M1P are same, P plus lambda. M2 dash P and M2P are same, P plus lambda. M3P and M3 dash P are P plus 3 lambda by 2. To calculate the area of the half period zones. These are the half period zones. The radius of the first half period zone is OM1. So the area of this circle is nothing but area of the first half period zone. And the area of the second half period zone is nothing but the difference between the areas of these two circles. So we have to calculate the area of the second circle and then subtract the area of first circle from the second circle. So these are the radius of the first half period zone OM1 equal to, as this is the right angle triangle. So to get this radius, M1P is nothing but B plus lambda by 2, OP is B. So this is a right angle triangle, this is hypotenuse. So OM1 equal to this in this way, root of B lambda. Similarly, the radius of second half period zone is root of 2B lambda. So in this way, radius of nth half period zone is root of NB lambda. So our radius of nth half period zone Rn is directly proportional to root n. So area of first half period zone equal to pi R1 square, that equal to pi B lambda. Area of second half period zone equal to difference between the circles of second circle and first circle. So pi of 2B lambda minus B lambda, pi B lambda. In this way, the area of any half period zone is equal to pi B lambda. Now the distance of the point from the half period zone from point P. For this is the M1P and M2P. This is the second half period zone. These are the extreme points. So the average distance is nothing but the average distance of M2P and M1P. Here I did the same thing. And for nth half period zone, B plus n lambda by 2 plus B plus n minus 1 lambda by 2 by 2, that equal to B plus 2n minus 1 lambda by 4. Then amplitude of the disturbance at P due to an individual zone. that is Rn is proportional to area of the half period zone and inversely proportional to distance of the point P to this zone. So this B plus lambda by 2 and directly proportional to 1 plus cos theta. That here theta is the angle between the normal to the zone and the line joining the point to the P. This is known as obliquity factor. So pi b lambda by b plus 2n minus 1 lambda by 4 into 1 plus cos theta. So to calculate the resultant amplitude due to this plane wavefront, here we divided this plane wavefront into half period zones. So this is from the first half period zone R1, second half period zone R2, R3 and so on. So R equal to R1 minus R2. Here R2 is why? Because it is minus, because here the amplitude due to the first half is in the positive direction, due to the second half is lambda by 2. There is a lambda by 2 path difference between these two. For the second half is negative crest, so negative. So in this way, for the first half period zone R1, second half period zone minus R2 plus R3, third positive. So for all odd zones we will get positive amplitude. For even zones we get negative amplitude. As R2 is average, any amplitude is the average of preceding one and succeeding one amplitudes. So R2 equal to R1 plus R3 by 2. Then R equal to, we can write like this. So all the terms in the bracket will get cancelled. So R equal to R1 by 2 plus Rn by 2 if n is odd. R equal to R1 by 2 plus Rn minus 1 by 2 minus Rn if n is even. Check with small numbers. Suppose if n is odd, take n equal to 1. Then R1 by 2 plus R1 by 2. R1. These are not there. These zones are not there. So we will get only R1. If n is even, R1 minus R2. All these zones are not there. So R1 by 2 plus 2 minus 1, R1 by 2, R1 by 2 plus R1 by 2, R1 minus R2 if n is even. For large wavefront, n is very large. So the distance of this, if the n is very large, zones are very farther from this point P. So their amplitude's contribution is also very large. Why? Because it is inversely proportional to the distance. So by adding vectorially, these are the first amplitude, this is the second amplitude, opposite direction. So finally we will get R1 by 2. The R1 by 2 is from the upper portion. Remaining R1 by 2 we will get from the lower portion. So total amplitude will be R1.